Hi, I'm Jeff Gilliam, and this is the fourth video in my Zen and the Craftsman Drummer series. In this lesson, I want to focus on the beat. Not any particular drum beat, but the pulse itself, how it underpins your playing. Whether you're playing a groove on a drum set or an orchestra excerpt, you cannot ignore the pulse. It is, in most cases, the foundation on which the music is built, and how you interpret the pulse in your playing is a key factor in how well you meld with or lead the group. First, I want to discuss the three ways your playing can be in relation to the beat: on top of the beat, behind the beat, or on the beat, in the pocket.
Here's a simple representation of a common tempo of 120 beats per minute, or 2 beats every second. If I play on each beat, represented by the inverted triangles, matching each beat as exactly as I can, we have an example of playing in the pocket. Now, if I play just before each beat on top of the beat, this is how the graph looks, and it sounds like this. This should not be confused with rushing the beat. Playing on top is just slightly out of phase with the beat, but maintains that phase difference. It's not a new tempo. But rushing gets further and further ahead of the beat and leads to a new tempo. If I play just after each beat behind the beat, the graph looks like this, and this is how it sounds. This should not be confused with dragging the beat. Playing behind is just slightly out of phase with the beat, but maintains that phase difference. But dragging gets further and further behind the beat and leads to a new tempo.
If you could take a recording of a piece of music with the band in the groove and put it in a digital analyzer to show when each instrument of the group actually was playing the beat, you would see that the beat that sounded together was actually a collection of slightly different moments in time.
Here's a greatly simplified mock-up of the digital waves from 3 instruments playing some very simple time. 2 are playing quarter notes, and the third is playing eighth notes. This is how it looks all together. This represents a low instrument like a bass guitar that is slightly ahead of the beat. Bass instruments generally need to play a little ahead of the beat due to the nature of the sound that they produce and the fact that the impact of their instruments is not immediate. This represents an instrument with a sharp attack and a quick decay like a close-mic'd bass drum. Its attack is right on the beat. This represents an instrument like a rhythm guitar with good attack but is played just behind the beat due to its high frequencies giving it more bite and immediacy to its sound than lower sounding instruments. This shows the image of the pulse to accommodate the width of the beat. Depending on the type of music, the tempo, and what else is happening musically, the width of the beat can be wide or narrow. Generally, the slower the tempo, the wider the beat can be, and the faster the tempo, the narrower it should be.
Now I want to help you get the feel for playing on different parts of the beat. First with a walking exercise, then playing a very simple beat on a drum set. Now for a walking awareness exercise. So find a good spot outside that's nice and flat where you can go for a good walk and just start walking. Your normal walk. Walk for a while, find a groove to your walk. And after a few minutes, I want you to move your weight onto your heels. Find the center of gravity and move it back. You're kind of leaning back on your walk. But keep going in the same groove if you can. Go for a while. Get the feel for this walking with your weight on your heels. Then after a while, go the other way. Move your weight onto your toes. Lean forward. Keep walking, same groove. Then after a while doing that, try to find the center of your feet. Put your weight there. Keep going. And then reboot. Stop, relax, take a breath, and see if you can find your normal walk. And become aware in your normal walk, where do you like to keep your weight? Is it on the heels, on the toes, or in the middle? And just walk along and be aware of your normal walk. Maybe play with this a little bit. Back, forward, center. But try to get the feel for those three zones. Back, forward, center, as you just walk along. So here I am at my handy electronic kit. A little easier to mic than a full acoustic kit. And I want to demonstrate a couple ways of playing in front of and behind the beat at a drum kit. First, I want to take a real simple rock beat and move the snare drum around that beat. Play it in front of the beat, on the beat, and behind the beat. Give you the idea of how just moving one limb around or one instrument around can change the feel drastically. So a real simple beat, just eighth notes on the hi-hat, 2 and 4 on the snare drum. 1, 2, 3, and 1 and 2 and 3 on the bass drum. And right then I was playing on the beat. The snare drum was right with the hi-hat. Sort of a flat flam. Pretty easy. So now I want to take that snare drum and move it up a skosh on top of the beat. So it's going to be sort of a grace note, but a loud grace note in front of the hi-hat note. So I'll just do the hands here, so kind of slow. Right in front of the hi-hat. Sounds a little jumpy to me. It's not something you would really want to do. I'm just demonstrating that. Now behind the beat, the snare drum comes after the hi-hat. That sounds very, very nice to me. You'll hear that on sort of moderate rock tunes sometimes, where that snare drum is just a little bit behind. It gives us sort of a laid back kind of a groove feel. It sounds good, it feels good to play that to me. On top with the snare drum, it's not really comfortable. I don't like the sound either, but for demonstration purposes, that's why I'm doing this. So that's moving one instrument around. Okay, so still at the drum set, I want to use the entire drum set and move that around the beat, in front of the beat, behind the beat, on the beat, not just one instrument like I did before. So I start the metronome here, and I'll start with on the beat.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right on the beat. Now I'll take that feeling from our walking exercise and lean into the beat a little bit. More on my toes. Get ahead of that beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, from the same walking exercise, I'm going to lean back, play behind that beat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Many years ago, I took a lesson from a local jazz drummer who was a master of keeping time. In fact, his nickname was the Claw, because once he got his claws into the beat, it didn't move. We spent an hour just talking about timekeeping, and his main bit of advice was this: learn to play behind the beat, because that's where you should be playing most of the time. Why? Because most musicians tend to rush to play on top of the beat, and it's often our job as drummers to temper that. I think that is great advice. Learn to play and get comfortable playing behind the beat. It's not always the right thing to do. A driving rock tune or the xylophone excerpt from Porgy and Bess are two examples of when you will probably need to be on top of the beat. But it is something that you will find very useful once you have it in your tool belt. I hope you found some useful information and exercises in this lesson. The next lesson will be about phrasing and musicality. Until then, take care and keep on drumming.